UConn's 2016 national championship team.
And the ball is up, and we are underway here for quarterfinal number 2 as George Washington will bring it into the front court to begin the game. GW looking around the perimeter first just to see what's there. Take a quick shot up. No good that time by Luma, and Cardano Hillary will come out with it for Mason.
Cardano Hillary is the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year. Originally from Spain. When she was 12, she moved to Texas, and George Mason with a great recruiting job. What a find to find this very talented young point guard.
And such a great combination between her and Butler.
The inside-outside punch, they really have led this team all season. And Hillary, she's fearless. She's not very big, but she's fearless, and she shoots it, cleans it up.
That's right, and that has been the story all season for the two of them. Mason out to an early 2-0 lead as Brianna Cummings now into the front court for George Washington. Around the horn out front. Mason playing a little bit of 2-3, it looks like, and we'll go down low, and that's going to put it in for Luma.
Patience by George Washington. Use the high screen, find the easy bucket underneath, and you'll probably see George Washington sit in a 2-3 zone a lot of today, where Mason plays a lot more man-to-man. Both teams very good on the defensive side of the ball, number 2 and number 3 in scoring defense in the conference.
George Mason trying to find something going. They'll go inside. Top, now back out again. Pull-up jumper, and that is pure by J.C. Bolton.
J.C. Bolton, the sophomore from Drexel, Missouri. Coach Millicent said Bolton had 22 kids in her high school graduating class. There was a little bit of a difference for her to come to the Washington, D.C. area.
Just slightly. And, of course, Coach Millicent knows that area as being a coach at Missouri State for a few years before coming to Mason. Down 8 seconds now on the shot clock as Malin Bautista looks to make a drive. She'll drive it amongst the trees and up scooping in. And it is 4-all here early going.
Wow, and Mason switching on that screen, and Bautista getting the much taller but perhaps slower Butler and able to convert on the drive to the rim.
And we'll look to see that throughout the day. Let's kind of go at Butler and see what they can get defensively. A quick shot there by Cardano Hillary. It's going to give a friendly bounce, and it'll be in for 3.
Talk about her fearlessness. If she's open, she's going to shoot it. This is a freshman who's first in the Atlantic 10 in steals and 3rd in scoring, averaging almost 18 points a game.
Mahoney and Luma playing catch out front now. Bautista has it. Luma up from the free throw line, and that one's good.
Nice catch and shoot from the high post. She's a great post defender, but showing you a little bit of range that she has.
So far, great shot selections by both teams, seeing what the defense will give them. Cardano Hillary again for 3. This time goes off back iron. It comes down to Cummings. She's pushing it in transition for George Washington. Back out the trail 3. No good. And that ball is going to go out of bounds, and it will be George Mason basketball.
GW likes to attack the defense in transition. As you just saw, they'll drive it as far as they can and they perhaps look for a trailing player to shoot the 3.
Cardano Hillary, she is not afraid to go after that. You know, they're trying to shield her from that rebound, and she's trying to find her way in to try to save that ball. Rookie of the Year now with it out front. And she's looking for movement inside. Will still go around the horn. Skip pass over to the left corner. That one is blocked by Cummings, but Butler cleans it up. Go up and in, and she gets fouled on the basket. So that foul will go against Kelsey Mahoney. That will be her first and the team's first of this first half.
Oh, a nice block by the senior Cummings, but if she's anywhere around the rim, she's typically going to get a hand on the ball. Nice shot fake and finish.
So Butler, as we mentioned, the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. Before she even came into the conference, she was preseason 3rd team just by her pedigree and what coaches knew about her transferring in. So Natalie Butler.
Well, she started her career at Georgetown. She's from the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. She was the Big East Rookie of the Year and then spent 2 years at UConn, won a national championship, and now she graduated from UConn last May and decided she wanted to come back home. Called Coach Millicent, and a nice phone call to get.
That's right. As Bautista misses that, and the foul is going to go on the rebound. Believe that will be on Camila Tapias, although the officials never went over and called the foul. I think they were trying to gather the loose ball and never informed the scorer's table of the foul. So on the rebound there, Tapias will get charged with that one. and GW picking up full court.
I like how they're extending their defense. They're going to keep pressure on Hillary. They're going to Mason to use some time on the shot clock, make it a little bit. They're going to make Hillary work all game, and then they'll drop back into this 2-3 zone. And before Mason can get into their set, there's already 10 seconds off the clock. Nice inside, outside look to Hillary. Butler up over the top, but unable to finish.
I'm keeping her position down low without going over back and fouling. Batista now driving through, will kick it out to the left side. There's a little drive that time by Tapias, and she puts it up and in.
Position, nice patience, moving that ball around the horn, getting a nice look.
As Mason will look to get their set going a little bit more, and a good denial there by George Washington. Batista bringing it up, and they will set the offense here as they had nothing in transition this time down. 9-8, Mason with the early advantage, but George Washington looking to capitalize on a turnover as Cummings has it at the top of the key. She's going to drive in on Butler, kicks it back out. Tapias, a little fancy footwork, no good, but gets her own rebound. And the shot clock resets, and George Washington will try to get back into their offensive rhythm. Long two-point jumper, no good, and Cardano Hillary will come down with it as she gets fouled. And that was Kelsey Mahoney with the miss. This foul is going to go against, I believe, Anna Cummings, and that will send us to our first media timeout. So right now, George Mason up 9-8, and Mason will have the ball coming back. 4:36 first quarter. You are watching the Atlantic 10 Digital Network.
Going at it again. Here's George Washington with the extended defense once again.
Mason will bring it into the front court, and Marika Korpinen into the lineup for George Mason. Nyla Millicent likes to substitute liberally, so we'll see quite a few shuffling in and out for Mason to try to keep fresh legs in there at all times. Down low to Butler. Butler almost triple team, now a little double team, but they're going to call a 3-second violation, this time on Kamiri Gatlin, and also a new entrant into the game for George Mason.
Oh, nice job by the Patriots defense collapsing on that interior pass, not giving Natalie Butler a look at the basket.
Both teams shooting 44% here early, both exactly 4 of 9, and we'll have a foul this time on Cardano Hillary. That will be her first and the team's first of this first quarter for George Mason. Cardano Hillary always active on the defensive end as well as her prolific offense on the other end.
She's just a sensational freshman. To the ball, plays fearless, so tough.
And we're seeing our first look at Kelly Prangy for George Washington, the Atlantic 10 6th Woman of the Year, as she found herself in a bench role this season after suffering a concussion.
Well, and she is a 1,000-point scorer. She's been an integral part of this George Washington program for a long time. She's the second leading scorer on the team, but some strategy to when coaches put players in games, and not always do your best players start the game. And Prangy comes in and spark to this team and really is taking her role, as we see right there. She can get out and go in transition. Offensive rebound by the Colonials, and they're going to the free throw line. So Prangy has a nice jump start off the bench. She comes in with some senior leadership and just gives them a jolt.
Absolutely, and that time Cummings pushing the issue, got the turnover on one end, came back down, a little give and go to Prangy, and then there to clean it up, and she will go to the line. That foul going on Musgrave. That is team second of this first quarter. Cummings up and good, and Cummings a 84% free throw shooter for GW, so Malin Bautista will come back in for the Colonials, actually just switching out a little bit, and we'll see the two subs that came in for Mason, Korpinen and Gatling, already out.
And George Washington lost a lot to graduation. They lost 3 all A10 honorees between Washington, Hannah Shibley, and Lexi Martin, who was first team, so they really took a hit, but have been able to rebound. And a much younger team, not as deep as they're used to having, but still nonetheless incredibly competitive. And Coach Jen Rosati in her second year just doing a great job with this program.
Mason now has it in their court. as they'll go around the horn. Butler at the elbow. She's met by Prangy pretty quickly. They'll go down low to Musgrave, and Musgrave is fouled on the drive to the basket. And that's going to go against Cummings. That's going to be her second foul. So a little early foul trouble for the third-team all-conference performer for GW. She's going to have to sit down for a bit as China Latimer, a 6-foot freshman from Maryland.
And this young team, start freshmen and freshmen sub in off the bench, George Washington. So we'll see what China is able to do and replace a Cummings. It's going to be tough for them to sit Cummings this early in the game.
Musgrave from long distance. Batista comes down with the rebound, and she's going to push it as though Mason all got back. She's going all the way to the hoop, up and in.
Yeah, Batista, she's just so solid. Wasn't it a great day when Jen Rosati walked in onto your court and took over as head coach? Jen Rosati, one of the best point guards ever to play, won the 1996 national championship at UConn, coached at Hartford for 17 seasons, and now at the helm of this program. And if you're a point guard, it's a dream to have someone like Jen Rosati be your coach.
Absolutely. As Sarah Kaminsky will come in for George Mason, and in for the Colonials, Lexus Levy, another freshman for squad. Yeah, Jen Rosati just coming in and not really missing a beat when Jonathan Sippis took the job at Wisconsin. And Mason trying to get the call there for an and one, but the foul before the shot, and that's going to go against Lexus Levy. That will be her first and the team's fifth. So we are in the shooting phase here for George Mason.
George Washington, a team with championship tradition, as you said, when Jonathan left, and before him, Joe McEwen, who had this team all the time. And one of the best players to ever play for George Washington and Joe McEwen is Taj Abraham, who's sitting on the George Mason bench as an assistant.
That's right. As the free throw goes down for Kaminsky, it's nice to look around the A10 and see former players in coaching and administrative positions within the different teams, and seeing them you would see them before.
Indeed.
As GW gonna still has the lead, 12-11. Mason cutting into it. As there'll be a drive from the right side. Forced shot up, no good. Butler with the rebound. Hillary looks to run once again. But GW gets back in transition. Butler at the top of the key. She'll hand off to Bolton. Bolton looking for help, and now Cardano Hillary. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's a hedge out that time by Prangy. Thought about the three, will drive into the lane, up no good, does not draw a rim, just hits the backboard. No shot clock reset, but Butler puts it down.
Wow, and that was great effort by Taylor Dodson, the senior, just chasing down that loose ball and finding Butler in the middle of the lane to get that right before the shot clock expired. Good
court awareness by everyone to know that had to go straight back up as Mahoney pressured out front. George Mason retakes the lead, 13-12. 9 seconds to go here on the shot clock for the Colonials. Batista with it at the top of the key, looking to drive, comes back a little bit. Now we'll have to force up a shot, and that does not draw iron from Mahoney. It'll be a shot clock violation. The ball will remain with Mason.
We're getting an opportunity to see how solid both these teams are on the defensive end. Two coaches that preach defense, run their systems by defense, and really this two back-to-back winding down of the shot clock.
Right, as Alexis Great will make an appearance for George Mason. She replaces Cardano Hillary. Comes off the bench and plays a lot of good minutes. Was sidelined with a foot injury early in the season, but came on during the A10 play.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be the starting, out for 18 games with a injury, and Cardano Hillary just blossomed as we see Malin Batista with the pick and the steal.
There by the junior from New York. Quickly up ahead goes Mason as they'll skip it around. A three on the way. No good as Prangy comes down. Batista looks to run once again. She will hold up and wait for her teammates into the front court. 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter, and it looks like GW will hold for the last shot. Rosati right at that line, trying to get her orders out to her troops. As we'll go down low to Prangy. Prangy turnaround hook shot, no good, and the rebound will come in. A heave there, but nothing doing, and that will bring us to the close of the first quarter. Our first quarter here of the A10 quarterfinal. Malin Batista taking it downtown all the way up and in, and GW on top. 4, and they will face the winner of this one between 4 and 5, George Mason and George Washington, respectively. Mason with the ball.
Very similar first quarter to the first game, just neck and neck, and that's how the last game finished, all the way down to the final whistle.
A block there by Mahoney on the jump, and GW back in business once again as they will try to set their offense and see what they can get going. Prangy and Butler, a great matchup to watch down low as there is a foul out front, and that's going to go against Great. That will be her first and the team's first of this second quarter.
Maylin Batista, just another fearless player, just puts her head down, goes, draws the foul. She's just, you can see what a floor general she is, constantly communicating, really runs this show for George Washington.
All A10 rookie team, her freshman season, now a junior, and as you Jen Rosati coming in to this position, it's really just allowed her to blossom into the point guard that she wants to be.
Well, and she's also a great defender, using the high ball screen right now, looking for someone to distribute, and there's Prangy down low.
Prangy up and under around arms with Natalie Butler, and that's the thing, Prangy is not afraid to go body to body with Butler.
And she has great footwork. She finds a way to do that up and under. She'll post up, she'll get big. I mean, she's a senior, she's experienced. She's been on some very good George Washington teams and been a vital part of them.
So Mason out front. They'll go to the left side as they'll drive baseline, up, under, and in for Taylor Dodson. So Dodson making a name for herself here early in the second quarter.
Well, Dodson leads this team in assists, but showing she can score as well.
GW now trying to run a little clock here. If they didn't have any in transition, they'll go back out now. Pass out to Batista. She zigged when she should have zagged, it looks like, and that's going to be a turnover as Tapias throws it out of bounds.
Well, another defensive effort, great defensive effort by Mason down there. I mean, really holding strong. And Coach Millicent told us that, you know, George Washington doesn't turn the ball over. They are at the top in the country in taking care of in turnovers per game, and they're not going to turn it over, so you're going to have to hold tough on defense.
That's right. Make something happen from the defensive end to lead into your offense. As they'll go down low to Butler, she's immediately doubled and comes out of the double but kills her dribble. Dotson trying to go up for it, but that's going to be a 3-second call on Dotson.
Great job by the Colonial. The immediate double team pushing Natalie Butler further away from the basket, getting her out of her comfort zone, and then recovering and causing the turnover.
So GW once again with the lead 16-15. They've led throughout the first quarter and into this second quarter. George Mason will cut it to 1, but usually come back and answer, and there's the answer right there by Brianna. And those are her second points of the day. 4 total now for Cummings. Active hands underneath, and up with it, coming the other way for GW. Wide open on the right side. Jumper rims Latimer, and Cardano Hillary now back the other way for Mason. Drive into the lane, she'll kick it back out. Mason will look for something going on, and a little extracurricular activity there in the lane as it looked like Luma cleared out Butler but committed the foul in doing so.
Little physical down there, player of the year, kind of like a pinball underneath the basket, getting pushed and shoved around. And you can guarantee Coach Rosati said there better be a body on her at all times.
And so Butler will have a seat as Kamari Gatling will come in for George Mason. Drive on the inside, nice little hook shot, no good. And the board will come on the offensive side to Mason. Gatling will have it, and she is fouled by Luma. It's going to be foul number 2 on Luma. So some foul issues piling up right now for George Washington, as just 2 in the second quarter, but they've got 2 on Cummings and 2 on Luma. So having to really work their lineup right now to get the effective and without harming themselves later on down the road.
Yes, and Cummings is going to have to be smart, as you see the nice exit Mason on that inbounds play and Gatling with the finish. Cummings is going to have to be smart and not pick up her third. Senior's experience, she knows how to play the game, she knows how to take care of it.
So GW got a foul underneath, it appears, and that is going to go on Cardano Hillary. It looks like she was holding as they were trying to go through underneath, so that's going to be her second foul. and that is a situation that we haven't seen her in much this season. And she's going to go out with 2 fouls here early in the second quarter.
Well, she's such a vital to this team, especially on the offensive end, so it'll be interesting to see what they'll do in her absence.
GW looking to capitalize now with both Butler and Cardano Hillary out of the game. Drive to the middle, kick back out. Bautista for 3, no good, and the rebound will come to Korpinen. And that was going to be a takeaway on the hard deny by George Cummings coming back the other way for GW. Kicks it out to Bautista. Bautista down low to Prangy. Prangy with the hook shot, no good. Will come down to Mason.
Nice interior pass, though, by Bautista. She could have shot that, but she saw Prangy had great position, so unselfish.
Always looking to do what's best for the team and pushing Mason out further than they want to be. Good active hands there by Prangy as she knocks it out of bounds. So Butler will come back in along with Alexis Great for Mason, and Cummings will have a seat as Latimer for GW.
When Prangy's listed as 6'5", and you just saw her on that high screen get out there with that hard hedge and then recover back, find the open man. She's a senior, she's experienced, she knows what she's doing, and she's got the match now. And Butler, catch, high catch, and shoot.
And that's very difficult to do. She makes it look easy, but it is difficult to get that in your shot pocket and up and in. As Bautista trying to come off the screen, she won't, so it'll go back out to Mahoney. Tough defense here. And pass into the corner goes off the outstretched fingers of Latimer, and it will be a turnover for GW, and we'll go to Mason.
They don't turn it over often, as we said, but right now, credit the Mason defense making George Washington a little bit on letting them get the shots that they usually take.
And Mason with the lead right now, 19-18. Not much separation between these two teams in the early going. Just throwing that one up there for Butler. Butler eventually comes down with it, and she'll go up and in.
Due to the extended press, Butler getting a little bit more room down under the basket. I like the press. It eats a lot of time off the clock, but Mason that time able to find Butler for the easy basket.
And the largest lead of the day for George Mason at 3, 21-18. When at the elbow, we'll go down low to Prangy. Prangy back out. There's going to be a foul underneath, and it's going to be called on Butler. Looks like she displaced a George Washington player as they were battling for position.
That was a nice job by Prangy coming off that screen, getting big in the paint, getting great position on Butler.
And gives it right off to Prangy. Prangy up and in. And the Mason lead.
Very similar inbounds play as to what we saw on the other end a minute ago.
This time coming around the edge. Little floater, no good by Bolton. Back up by Butler, no good. And Prangy will come down with it, and here comes back the other way. Trailing by 1.
It quite often. She's on the weak side, great position, able to catch and finish it. She makes it look easy.
Great that time with the foul for Mason. That's going to be her second and the team's fourth, as Coach Nyla Millicent having a little conversation there with the officials.
In his offensive rebounds, they lead the A10 in that category. They have 7 offensive boards right now. Natalie Butler able to capitalize as George Washington comes out and Kelsey Mahoney drains the 3.
Mason can beat you on the outside as well as on the inside, so Mason will have to adjust their defense accordingly, and GW has the early advantage here in the second half of the second quarter. And that skip pass stolen away and then taken right back by Mason. No reset of the shot clock, so no change of possession indicated, as now they will reset the shot clock, excuse me. And now they go up underneath. There will be a blocking foul on GW that will go against China Latimer. little helter-skelter there.
A little bit.
And so that will be the first foul on Latimer, the team's third for this quarter. And at the line for George Mason will be Musgrave.
Well, when we talked to Coach Rosati before the game, we had the big keys to this one, and she said one would be to limit Butler's touches. And right now, Butler, 6 for 8 from the floor, and she has 6 rebounds. And Coach Rosati also said rebounding was going to be a big part of this. Both coaches did. Total rebounds right now, George Mason 16 and GW 9.
And Butler by herself almost out rebounding the George Washington, but George Washington taking advantage of shooting a little higher percentage right now as that free throw drained for, and it's a 2-point advantage now for GW as they bring it back in. Batista out on the left side. She'll dribble into a trap out to Prangy. Prangy will spot up for 3, rims out, and it comes down to 8.
Like that side ball screen, how Prangy can just pop. She can roll, she can pop, she reads her defense well.
Well, high action there. It'll come back out for 2, and that goes down for Taylor Dodson, one of this George Mason team.
Taylor Dodson, smart enough, popping to the top on that drive to the basket. Wide open look from the free throw line.
Now we're all tied up once again, 26 all, 2:30 to go here in the second quarter, and we'll have an offensive foul this time on GW. And it looks like that will go on Kelly Prangy, and that will be her second of the game.
Fouls are starting to add up a little bit here.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how both teams utilize their benches here in the last 2.5 minutes to avoid that dreaded third foul before halftime. Skip pass over to the left side. Musgrave thinks about it, then kicks it back out. Active hands that time by Batista. She's unable to corral it and goes sliding into Nyla Millison. And I know that's something that Coach Millison will appreciate, that kind of work ethic and never giving up on the play. As George Mason will inbound into the backcourt. Great with it, 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Great's going to drive to the basket, hits the underside of the backboard, but they're going to say play on and add the rebound before the shot clock expired. Batista back the other way. She'll kick it over on the left side. Double team up, no good, as somehow China Latimer was able to get that shot off, but it'll send her to the free throw line.
And I don't know if I would call that a good shot.
No.
I don't know if Coach Rosati would either, but able to draw the foul nonetheless.
That's right. As that's going to be on Kaminsky. That will be her first. The 5'9" sophomore out of Plymouth, Minnesota. And now at the line, China Latimer. Not been to the free throw line today, but on the season, just 4 of 9 from the line total. So now make that 4 of 10. Hasn't had many opportunities. And we'll have a substitution here as Lexus Levy will come into the game. She'll replace Maylin Batista. 1:56 to go here in the second quarter. Tied up, Mason 26, GW 26, as Latimer will go to the line for only the 11th time.
2 freshmen on the floor for George Washington.
That's good. Yeah, losing a little bit in experience, but maybe gaining some in speed and freshness.
Well, you don't want Cummings to pick up her 3rd foul, so a smart move to have her on the bench right now while this thing remains neck and neck. Save her for the second half. She'll be fresh.
So Levy will come back the other way, running the offense for GW. Prangy with it. And there's going to be a grab underneath. That foul is going to go against Musgrave. And that will be foul number 2 on Musgrave. Musgrave not talked about a lot as one of these Division I transfers, but she had quite a good career at Central Connecticut State before coming into Georgia.
Well, and she gives them the extra player they need to back up the point, play those extra minutes, especially right now with Cardano Hillary in foul trouble.
Tapias up and in for the free throw, as we have not seen Cardano Hillary after picking foul, and George Washington trying to take advantage.
It's a nice read by Tapia's off of that stagger screen. She's able to use the stagger, or if it's overplayed, the back cut and got body checked and got herself to the free throw line.
And now, by the virtue of free throws, GW taking a 3-point advantage as George Mason looking to try to get a field goal to go down for them. Active hands once again, this time Butler triple teamed, and that's going to be off of Mason, off of J.C. Bolton, and GW creates the turnover once again.
They're really doing a great job collapsing on Butler when she catches the ball near the block area, and Butler not doing a great job passing the ball out of the traps. Good hustle coming over, denying the pass, getting the deflection.
And one of the things that you sometimes see there is over-helping, and it doesn't look like they're doing that. It looks like they are sticking to their game plan and not doing too much with it.
A lot of times when that ball goes inside, the best person to receive it is the opposite player, but George Washington doing a great job really collapsing strong on that trap and not giving Butler a chance to turn around and look.
Prangy, quick shot, no good. Butler will come down with the rebound. That'll be her second of the afternoon to go along with her 12 points. Probably in no danger of seeing that double-double streak come to an end today. As she's had 31 consecutive double-doubles this season. Excuse me, 30. This would be 31. As there's a foul out front as Mahoney goes crashing to the deck, but it will send Great to the free throw line, and that's foul number 2 on Mahoney.
Mahoney with the big show on that high ball screen, but just not able to move her feet quick enough with the much quicker Alexis Great as she goes to the free throw line.
And Great only been to the line 8 times this season, so she's 6 on those, and of course she didn't get her season started really till January 24th, coming about for the foot injury, and she'll miss the first one.
Well, she's a Virginia kid, not too far down the road from Richmond and Hampton, Virginia. So she went to Bethel High School, so I'm sure her family gets an opportunity to come see her play today.
And with so many teams from this area and really a great location to see a lot of action from family members and team members alike. The second one goes down without a problem, as now she will be replaced by Camden Musgrave.
Mason now going to extend a little 2-2-1 look from them as well. And 2-2-1 not necessarily meant to steal the ball, but more to eat time off the shot clock. A nice textbook press break by the Colonials, but 15 seconds to go as they get into their offensive set.
GW now looking for the last shot here of the first half in this second quarter. 4 seconds left. Prangy has it. She's going to step back out. It's going to be a 3 by Tapia. It's no good, and that's going to bring us to the end of the first half. As going into the locker room, it will be the George Washington Colonials 29, the George Mason Patriots 27. And that is going to be some good conversation for both teams in this locker room, as you've seen some highs and lows from both of them kind of getting out. But right now, as tight as it can be without being tied, and we'll see what they have to say when they come out for the second half. Please join us here back in about 15 minutes as we get ready for the second half. You are watching the Atlantic 10 quarterfinal action between number.
They had struggled, and they'd really been a bottom dweller in the Atlantic 10, and she's just done a fantastic job getting them up into the number 4 seed, and now in a position to advance to the next round.
GW has the ball to begin here as we see some familiar faces we didn't see much of in the second quarter as Cummings back out on the floor, and a 3 looked like it was might have been blocked, but apparently not, as that's going to go out off of Cummings. And actually, we are going to have another official from the top to see if it was blocked before. Okay, but I believe she is saying that it was touched by Cummings as she was trying to save it from going out of bounds. So it will be George Mason basketball. Washington again showing the 2-1-2 pressure there as they come across the timeline. Cardano Hillary now back in action for George Mason. And Mason trying to kind of get back to what's familiar with them, with her out there leading the charge.
George Washington staying in their stingy 2-3 zone.
Cardano Hillary shot offline, and that is going to belong to Mason as Luma tried to corral that rebound and wasn't able to. And with 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock, George Mason will inbound.
I thought Mason did a great job of the last possession, extending their defense and then dropping into a zone, but it's the only time we'd seen zone from them today. Wonder if we're going to see any more in the second half.
Dodson loses the handle on that one on the inbound on the baseline, but it will remain with George Mason. Now 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
You can I thought it would be a lot, but it was for a
Long
three.
three.
And wow, Sarah Kaminsky.
And they had a stagger up top, player stagger, and they just put it through the last one in line, and she drills it. And it's now a George Mason lead, 30-29.
So many coaches with a short shot clock on an inbounds go for a lob pass to the big girl, but they went over the top for the three and converted.
Contested layup by Cummings, and it comes down to Mason as Cardano Hillary back the other way for the Patriots. Down low, up and under for Dodson, and George Mason on a run here to start the third quarter.
Kaminsky with the nice bounce pass for the interior feed.
And George Washington reeling just a little bit here. They were up 2 in the half, now down 3 as they go down low. Tapias has to bring it back out. Batista will line up for a three. It's no good, off the iron, and it will go out of bounds. Possession will go to George Mason. So not the best shot selection thus far from GW. Looks like they're a little bit early in the shot clock.
Oh, and credit the Mason defense for that. Getting them to play a little bit off kilter is a nice steal by Batista, and the finish by
Great work that
Tapias.
time by Tapias up and in, and you get that every once in a while out of that 2-1-2. You're able to put some pressure and have the other team make the mistake.
A little more aggressive on the ball and got the deflection and finished.
Now Mason settles back in. They have a 1-point lead over GW, 32-31. Butler is denied inside, and Kaminsky will go up with the hook shot. It's no good, and the rebound comes down. And bringing it down that time was Luma, but it'll go out of bounds off her knee, and possession will remain with George Mason.
I think Butler was able right there to knock it off Luma's leg and get it back.
So doing it not only with bounds, but also not giving up after the rebound and getting the ball back. Daniel Hillary going around. She'll pull up for the jumper. It's no good. On to GW, coming out to Malin Batista on the left side. She's going to drive all the way to the basket. Will flip up, no good. Kind of stops short of the basket, and there's going to be a foul. And I believe that's going to go on Cummings, and that will be her third. So Cummings picks up the early third foul here in the third quarter. 7:23 to go.
Not what you want to see if you're George Washington. They need her on the floor.
As China Latimer will now come in to replace Cummings. And Cummings will go to where she had to spend the majority of the second quarter, back to that front seat on the bench.
Well, last year for the tournament, finished tied, won the conference title, regular season, and came in here and played number 7 seed Duquesne in the quarterfinals and lost. And Coach Rosati and her team ready to be back. And Coach Rosati said they were happy they didn't have a bye this season. They felt like they really liked to play that game. They had a great game against LaSalle. She feels like they're playing confident and they're playing loose. Nice rebounding again by George Mason, and the rebounds are starting to make this one.
Absolutely. As that time the rebound went long, everyone left Butler underneath, and she goes up and in and pushes it again out to a 3-point lead for Mason.
For their 9th offensive rebound of the day.
As GW trying to look for something inside, not seeing it, as their outside shots have gone a little cold here to open the third quarter. And there's going to be a foul on the cut through, as that's going to go against Dodson, and that will be foul number 1 on Dodson, as Kelly Prangy now back into the lineup for GW.
You know, Coach Rosati is going to try to get as many minutes as she can out of Prangy. Prangy averages between 20-25 minutes a game, and you'd much rather have her on the floor at the end of the game than you would in the beginning of the game, but this team needs her right now. George Mason's doing a nice job switching screens, keeping players.
GW trying to find some offense here, as Prangy will send it from the free throw line, and it's good.
She's so good from the free throw line. You cannot.
Mason into the front court, a little pull-up jumper there for George Mason. It actually goes to Butler. Butler up and in.
It's almost like right now, a pass to Butler.
That's right. If you don't hit the rim, don't worry. Butler will be there. As Batista now with it. Her team down 3 once again, 36-33, 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Prangy and Butler again one-on-one out front. They'll go down to Prangy on the low post. She'll turn around, jumper is no good, and the rebound comes down to Cardano Hillary. She fights, and she'll come back the other way.
Probably not the best shot for Prangy either. Forced a little bit off the block, out of scoring range.
Daniel Hillary throws up a shot. It's no good. GW comes down with the rebound. Flipped up that time by Batista. Batista gets the rebound underneath Butler, and Batista will set it up again.
I think Batista was surprised how open she was on that one, and she ended up shooting the floater. I think George Washington can probably use a little more transition, get down the floor a little more quickly. They're so good in transition and picking their spots, feeding the post on the run.
As Tapias will put it down low to Prangy. Prangy tried to turn around. 3 Patriots, and it comes back the other way for Cardano Hillary. Round to the right side now, as Hillary will have it out front. She's looking to drive. Prangy cuts her off.
The job, freshman Luma with the job of guarding Natalie Butler. Prangy comes over for the double, but drills that 10-foot shot from the baseline.
Just jumps right over her, and it's going to be a timeout called by Jen Rosati as Batista comes across midcourt, and that is going to lead to our media time.
George Mason has played in a semifinal of a conference championship. This would be a big, big win for the George Mason program.
Now George Washington after the timeout, looking to get their offense jump-started a bit. It's Prangy with it out high. Turns the corner, goes into the lane, and that pass goes off of George Mason, and it will remain with GW with 8 seconds to go on the shot clock, and it will be a timeout on the floor, as we'll keep it here.
Mason defense.
Creating a lot of turnovers for GW, which is what they're not used to. They'll go down low to Prangy. 3 seconds left. She tries to go around Butler, but she will double dribble as held it a bit on her hip and gets credited with the turnover. Brianna Cummings making her way back into the game for GW. They sorely need her in this lineup to mount a comeback here.
They do, and with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, 3,000 be out there and start to be a spark for her team. Come on the floor with some energy, provide some scoring. Some great defense.
Mason now in the front court. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. As Cardano Hillary waits for the ball out on, so they'll get it inside to Butler. Butler rattles out, and this is going to belong to George Mason, as they're going to say it went off of Mahoney. So a fresh 30-second shot clock for the Patriots, as we'll have a couple of substitutions into the match. Kaminsky and Bolton in for the Patriots, as Musgrave and Cardano Hillary will sit down.
Well, Coach Millison talked a little bit about Bud. You know, she has the championship mentality coming from UConn. She shoots the long-range shot, but she really solidified their team because she's really humble, and she's just a really hard worker. As you know, her father, Vernon, is the second all-time leading scorer in Navy history behind, guess who? The Admiral.
The Admiral, David Robinson, absolutely. And a 3-point basket that time by Mahoney, as she's decided she's not done yet. A bit of a flop there by Mahoney, though, and it'll go back the other way for Mason, but she comes up with the block. Butler tries to go up and under, and she does. She goes in. As playing strong here in this third quarter. Back out, Prangy will line it up for 3. It's no good off back iron. And Kaminsky will come down with George Mason. Back out to Kaminsky. She's going to look down low for Butler, and blocked by Prangy as she tried to go up under. And here comes GW. Malin Batista with it on the left side. She'll push past it over to Cummings. Cummings draws the double team around the horn. Up top for 3, no good. But the rebound is going to go to Prangy, and there will be a foul underneath on Kaminsky.
Like how the pace of play has picked up, and I think a faster pace is going to favor George Washington. It's a matter of how long both teams can maintain it.
And that will be foul number 3 on Kaminsky, so she will have a seat. Prangy will go out for a rest, as GW will have it in their half of the court with a new.
You can see Butler's a little bit tired right now. She's not as adept getting up and down the court that many times that quickly, and I think if GW can pick up the speed of this one, it'll make Butler struggle. They don't want to keep playing Butler in a half court.
And a foul out front as a block that time on Musgrave, as Latimer was trying to get around her. That will be her third, so foul trouble picking up on both ends for both teams, as Kaminsky and Musgrave now with 3 for George Mason. Another new GW. Cummings will have it in the paint. Curl around, up and in, and it is now a 2-point game. Mason up.
Pretty shot by Cummings. She has such a great vertical. She's able to elevate and get that shot off. And there's the freshman, Cardano Hillary, maybe going just a little bit too fast, turning the ball over at a very inopportune time.
And Cardano Hillary that time looked like trying to do a little too much and gives the turnover, gives it right back to GW. So looking to tie it or take the lead are the Colonials, as Maylin Batista will now have it for GW. Batista with it again at the top of the key. She'll drive in. A little floater, no good. Tries to punch it back out, and then we'll get the double team on the rebound by Mason, and it will belong to George Mason. As Great will come back in for Mason. Cardano Hillary will go out. And again, a lot of substitutions for George Mason. It's like how they like to do it, because they like to get up and down the floor, but they also like to have fresh legs in there when they do.
They've played 9 different players in this game.
And now with the ball is Great. She'll give it to Butler with Batista on her. Just a little bit of a mismatch there, but Butler didn't look to go anywhere with it. As driving inside will be Dodson, but she travels before she gets there, as there was a block waiting for her as well. So GW will retain possession.
Nice call by the official right on top of that one.
So Dodson with her 4th turnover. 9 turnovers for GW, 12 for George Mason. As Cummings loses it momentarily off of her own teammate, but regathers it. Now Cummings will have it on the left side. She's going to try to drive inside. She draws the foul, that time on Dodson, and that is going to be the first foul on Dodson, but it is the 4th team foul of this 3rd quarter, so the next one will send GW to the line.
I like that decision by Cummings, the senior, the little base station. Take perhaps a little slower defender off the dribble and draw the foul.
Batista looking inside, looking for the cut. They get it down low, and up and in is Luma. As she flies, and they found it, and we are tied 40-all here in the 3rd quarter. Back the other way for Mason, a forced shot, and it's going to go out on GW, and it will remain with George Mason. Cardano Hillary back into the lineup, as well as Gatling for Mason, as well as Kaminsky. So 56 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter, 20 seconds on the shot clock, as Kaminsky will key it from underneath her own back. Over to Kaminsky on the left side. She's doubled. Now Cardano Hillary has it. 12 seconds to shoot. Over on the right side, all alone for 3, and that goes down for J.C. Bolton. And Mason back up by 3 as Batista brings it back down the other way.
It's a huge shot for J.C. Bolton off that baseline screen. Good patience against the zone. She had a lot of room on that one.
Absolutely. And goes momentarily off the leg of a Mason player, but Cummings will take it up. She's going to be fouled before that, and that foul is going to go against Kaminsky, and that will be number 4 against the sophomore. So one of the starters now with 4 fouls for GW.
Cummings, the senior, Mason, starting to take the game into her own hands. You can see when she catches the ball, she's looking at her matchup, seeing if she can take them off the dribble, and right now the rim are drawing a foul or hitting a nice short pull-up jump shot.
So Cummings on the game with 6 points, make it 7. And just behind Prangy with 9 as Kaminsky will come out for the remainder of this 3rd quarter. 22 seconds left. GW down by 2 as Cummings goes to the line for another.
Well, Cummings is an 84% free throw shooter. She's 2nd in the Atlantic 10. She's the perfect line right now.
And definitely the one you want communities as we come down the stretch. As Cummings will go out as to not draw another foul for herself, and Tapias will come back in for GW. 22 seconds left here for George Mason as they will have the ball and going to roll it up to save as much time as possible. Great now with it into the front court. Mason looking to hold for 1 shot. They're up by 1, 12 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Going all the way to the basket, no good, but a foul. So great, able to get it to go and get the foul called, I should say.
Well, it looked like they were looking for Cardano Hillary off a baseline screen, one side or the other, and it ended up great. Just said, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to go.
She picks up the foul on Kelly Prangy. That's only her second. So to the line, and it will go in for great. A few more substitutions here as we get ready. 8.5 seconds left here in the third quarter. Mason up to 44-42. Again, great for the day. Been to the free throw line almost more times than she has all season. She knocks both of those down, and she will go out as George Washington will see what they can do here in the final few seconds of the third quarter. 35-42. Batista into the front court. Long three-pointer. This time it will go down for Mahoney, and we are tied going in to quarter number 4. We wouldn't have it any other way with this game, would we?
No, beautiful high screen and pop back by Mahoney, and Batista doing what she does well, finds her teammate and knocking that one down at the buzzer. Great execution.
Well, they say you want to save your best for last, and you want to play as hard as you can in March, and both of these teams proving that out right now as they are trying to book a date into the Atlantic 10 semifinals. Natalie Butler
Game and tie it up.
Kaminsky out on the floor for George Mason. She has 4 fouls currently. Actually, she is not on the floor. I take that back, as she will not start this fourth quarter. So a couple other foul trouble, and there Mahoney, three-pointer to end the third quarter, comes up with the steal, and George Washington looking to take the lead. Cummings running the offense for GW. And she gets stopped at the free throw line. He'll kick it back out to Mahoney and to Batista. Batista now looking for room to work. She'll get it over to Prangy. Good ball movement, 6 seconds to go. Cummings into the lane, up and no good on the jump stop, but she will draw the foul on Musgrave, and that will send her to the free throw line. That's going to be foul number 4 on Camden Musgrave.
Alan Cummings is certainly George Washington's player that can create when you need a basket, and you see as the shot clock winds down, she's able to put it on the floor, and she has such great elevation. She can create that pull-up jump shot at will.
So Musgrave, the player who comes in most of the time, both of them now with 4 fouls, as Cummings is going to go to the free throw line to try to put her team ahead.
Well, foul trouble certainly going to be a factor as we come down the stretch. You certainly want your best players on the floor.
Cummings been able to stay out of it here in the third quarter and now into the fourth as she drills the second one as well, and GW back out to a 2-point lead. It's our 7th lead change of the day to go along with 7 ties. It's been just about everything you could ask for in a tournament game in March. To go up top as Butler down low was looking for room to work. She didn't have it, and the ball is going to belong to Mason as it goes off of George Washington. 12 seconds to shoot here for the Patriots as Cardano Hillary will key it in. Up top, Tapias in the face there. Go over to Cardano Hillary. She'll launch the 3. It's an air ball. It will go out of bounds off of George Mason, and Dodson pokes it out, and it will belong to GW.
Cardano Hillary struggling from the perimeter today. I mean, she averages points a game. She's been 3rd in the conference in scoring, and she's just having a rough day from the field.
She is. Shots not falling early, and led her to try to get some of her teammates involved, but only 2 assists on the day as well. So foul trouble playing into that a little bit as well, I would guess. Cummings, pull-up jumper, good. And you go to your senior leader when you need a bucket. Right now, up 4 is GW.
She's certainly answering the call right now, and that causes Coach Millicent to call a timeout.
That's right, and so Coach Millicent has seen this movie before. She wants to make sure that Mason knows what they want to do here offensively and defensively, but right now the defensive goal has got to stop Brianna Cummings. 12 points, 3 of 4 from the field, but 6 of 6.
She's on the all-defensive team, and she has scored in double digits in every single game she's played this year. And right now she has 3 points and 4 turnovers. She's 1 for 8 from the field, and it's really going to be a question of her smart decisions down the stretch to help her team win.
And that one poked out of bounds by Cummings. Cummings with the tight D there as well, and no slack at all from Cummings, all defensive team as well as all Atlantic 10 third team this season. So up between these two. Cordano Hillary now out front. Going to skip it over, and they'll come to the free throw line extended. Butler trying to pass out of the double team, and it's going to be a foul on Batista, and she knew it as she crashed into the Mason player.
Oh, and that's what we're talking about. There's the inside and opposite pass that Butler was able to see. But Batista's so good in rotations on traps, and she was getting too short to steal that one. She knows exactly where she has to be, just a little late.
So Batista with only her first foul of the day as Butler has it at the top of the key. Mason will look to run a little clock here. They're getting their offense back in rhythm. Cordano Hillary out front, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Go around to the right side. Butler trying to post up. Bolton has it now, swinging around, and goes through the legs of Taylor Dodson, and it'll be another turnover for George Mason.
George Mason has to take care of the ball. George Washington's too good. You just can't give them this and give them the ball back.
Batista into the front court for GW. Now GW going around Cummings, up, under, and in. And the senior just getting it done for
GW choosing to go 5 out on that one because no one right now is able to stop Cummings off the bounce.
As Butler travels, as she caught the ball off position again, off the block, and she gets called for the travel as she just could not gather her feet.
Right now a big momentum swing towards George Washington. Mason needs a good defensive.
So GW up 6, 51-45, their largest lead of the day, as 7 minutes to go here in the game. Prangy over to Cummings. Cummings will fire, no good, and the rebound comes down to Bolton. I think Cummings was a little surprised she was that wide open that time.
Open.
Butler at the free throw line. She'll put it up and good right over Prangy. We're going to need to see more of that if Mason's going to cut into this lead a little more.
Yeah, nice shot from the high post, her 22nd point of the night, or the day, I should say.
11 of 16 from the field. Only been to the free throw line once, trying to convert an and one opportunity, unsuccessful. As GW with the 4-point advantage. And Prangy now has it on the right side. She'll get it to Batista. Nice no look out to Tapias for 3, no good. Tracked down by Prangy, but it is poked out of bounds, and it looks like the ball might have, or Prangy might have poked Alexis Great as they were going for the ball. So the ball will belong to Mason, and they are going to review this because it did appear as though Great somehow got poked in the eye, whether it was the ball or whether it was a hand. So anytime there's contact to the face, I believe they are going to review it just to make sure that there's nothing nefarious going on.
Yeah, I don't know that anything. I think Prangy was just going for the ball. It was no malintent on that play, certainly. Just wrong place, wrong time. Good hustle by Prangy, trying to keep the ball alive for her team. She just happened to be right in the face area of Great.
And official confirming what we had thought, so they are looking at that. And thanks to our replays here in the arena, we've seen that looks like a clean play for the ball.
Play.
So should be a fairly quick review on this one. But, you know, for both of these teams, you've been seeing some tired legs. So review probably a good thing for both of them right now to get a little bit of a rest as they get ready for this stretch haul.
Very much so, very much so. And both teams have played a significant number of players. George Washington spreading their minutes out. They've got 5 players right now, almost 6, that have played 20 minutes or more.
And Cummings continuing to add to her stat line, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist in 21 minutes. And for George Mason, 22 points for Natalie Butler, 11 rebounds, only 1 foul, and 11 of 16 from the field. So the officials talking it over after they've had a chance to look at the monitor. Of course, both teams here looking to advance into the semifinals as the number 1 seed Dayton awaits. They were able to knock off a pesky Richmond team earlier today, 67-58. And this will be George Mason basketball and nothing else to it as we'll go. So, yep. Ball contacting the face, and then the hand was the last thing it touched from Kelly Prangy. So getting the official word, and it will be Mason basketball.
Mason basketball.
It gives George Washington an opportunity to set up defense there. Lets the ball come in, but now they will kind of hawk the ball as it comes into the front court.
Well, both these teams right now, only 1 player on each squad is in double digits. And for George Mason to win, they typically need Cardano Hillary to put up significant numbers. She's the 2nd leading freshman in the country in points scored, as we see a beautiful feed from Greer dissecting the zone.
And that is what they're going to need more of, as now they've cut the lead to 2, 51-49. It looks at this point that for Mason, it's going to have to go through Butler. And for GW, the woman with the ball just then, Cummings, is the one who's going to have to get it done on GW's end. Down to Prangy. Prangy says, not quite yet. I can get it done too.
About that Chin offense, it moves Prangy away from the basket. She comes off the back screen, and that's hard to guard for a taller defender, and she's wide open. That's a beautiful pass.
Prangy taking her time, putting it up. And it will be Cardano Hillary now with it for George Mason, the A10 Rookie of the Year, trying to get herself going here offensively, as it's been a bit of a struggle for her from the field. Bolton back over, and stopped that time by Cummings with her foot, so it'll be a kicked ball, and the shot clock was at 2. It will now go to 15. So a break there for George Mason. Cummings tried to pull that foot out just at the last minute to say, no, it didn't hit my foot. I'm just going to pick it. The left side. And tipped out by GW, so it will remain with Mason. Inbounding in front of her bench will be Dodson. Hillary with it now. Great, looking for something to do. She's over on the left side. She'll spot up for 3. It's an air ball, and Cummings with the rebound. Here comes Malin Batista back the other way for GW. She finds Prangy down low. A great pass up and in for Prangy. Missed it for a second and then got it right back as Dodson comes down the other side, and Cummings trying to steal one away again, but she gets caught that time with her hand in the cookie jar, and that's going to be foul number 4 on Cummings.
Well, that was a beautiful pass in transition by Batista, and George Washington's so good at finding the post and hasn't done a lot of that today, but great push. Prangy, just a depth around the rim, no finishes that, but that was really important. That unnecessary foul really by Cummings that sits her down, and she was playing so well at a crucial time.
Butler has it out high now for George Mason. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Bolton tries to go inside, and it's picked off. Has it now for GW.
I love how Batista always has her head up in transition. A smart decision to pull it out.
Batista on a swivel there, and she's got her team up 6 here with 4 minutes to go in the game. Tapias now with it. She'll drive into the lane. Blocked by Butler. Back the other way. Great with it. She's going to try to go all the way to the basket. She draws the foul. That foul is going to go against Mahoney. It'll send Great to the free throw line again. And for Mahoney, that will be foul number 3. So 6-point advantage here for GW. Great going to the line again. She's 3 of 4 for the day coming in. She was 6 of 8 on the season.
She's making a big contribution.
She really is. All 3 of her points coming from the free throw line. His first shot's up and rattles out. And Great at the line. Kaminsky looking to check in for her if she makes this second free throw. 3:49 to go. GW up 55-49 on George Mason. Second one's good, and Kaminsky will come in for great. So a 5-point advantage here for the 5 seed. So far this tournament has gone chalk, but are on the edge of possibly our first seeded upset. Batista with it now. She's content to run a little bit of this clock down with her team up 5. We'll go over to Tapias on the right side. Tapias will get it, and down low, a great find and a block from Butler as Latimer unable to finish it. And here comes Cardano Hillary.
Looked like George Mason was in a zone on that one, but able to get the stop, and Cardano Hillary can shooting woes with the air ball.
And her shots have not just been off, they've been way off today.
Off.
So you wonder if the arena has something to do with it for her.
Well, and it's also a big stage, and she is, we forget sometimes the freshmen are freshmen. It's her first time to the Atlantic 10 Championship.
All
Mason's
contributing factors. Tapias with the 3, no good as Butler skies up for the rebound.
Oh, Mason stay in the zone.
As Bolton will drive to the basket after the fake, no good on the take to the rim. Prangy going after it, and it's going to be a foul on Prangy as she tracked down Bolton, kind of pulled her down from behind. Definitely not intentional, but just playing hard for the ball. So that will be foul number 3 on Prangy, as we'll have some substitutions. Cummings back in for GW. 2:36 to go. Colonials with the 5-point advantage.
Good opportunity to give Prangy a little bit breather. I think we're probably going to see her again.
Kaminsky hit the 3 on earlier as it'll go out front to Bolton. Bolton now in the lane. She'll get it down to Butler. Butler up and in, and there will be a foul despite the triple team on Butler.
I thought they might have called that foul on Cummings, did they?
They did. And that is going to be a foul. So Cummings with the foul, 2:32 to go, and the senior leader for GW is out of this game. Her team up by 3 right now, but Butler going to the line to try to make it a 2-point game. Coming in will be Latimer. So if GW is going to pull off this upset, they're going to have to do it without their senior leader.
That's a big loss for GW.
So Butler to the free throw line, 1 for the day, 72% on the season. Shots up, and it's good.
Well, and as we said coming in, George Washington's won 12 in a row against George Mason. So this game, and you know, the 4-5 game is always, it's anybody's ball game. You know, they're so tightly matched, but right now with Cummings on the bench, and you see Prangy right back in the game, they're going to need her. And Maylin Batista's really, but she's so good at what she does. She's a great leader.
55-53, GW clinging to a 2-point advantage. A little over 2 minutes to go here. So get it to Prangy. Prangy out to Batista. Now back to Prangy at the free throw line. Butler meets her there.
Mason in the 2-3 zone.
Out front to Mahoney. Mahoney drains the 3, and GW puts out to a 5-point advantage.
There's where Batista is so smart. She knew she had to find the shooter, and she patiently waited, and Mahoney with the biggest shot of the day.
Mahoney coming close to her career high, 17, and she's at 12 right now, so they'd love to see her get some more. Cardano Hillary finally hits one from distance, and that time looked like it was a little short in, and the bench erupts for her.
And threw her hands up like, oh God, finally.
GW's lead now at 2, as Batista will have it, a minute and a half here to go in the game. Over to Tapias in the left corner. Now Tapias will give it to Mahoney. Batista will now have it, 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Batista dribbles around back to Mahoney. Mahoney will fire the 3, no good, but Prangy there for the big rebound, and she will get fouled by Cardano Hillary, and that will be number 3 on the freshman, and it will not send them to the line yet, as that is only the second team foul in this fourth quarter against George Mason.
Thought that shot by Mahoney was going down. She already has 4 on the day, 62 on the season. Good point blank look. You know, if Mason stays in this zone, that's who they're going to be looking for.
So Batista will bring it back out. 22 on the shot clock, and we are almost at 1 minute remaining in this game. GW with the 2-point advantage.
With Mason's back in man-to-man defense.
Mahoney now with it. 10 seconds to go. Prangy at the top of the key. She'll dribble around to the left side, hand off. Splitting defenders up for 2, no good that time, and it will go to Mason. And a timeout is called by Nyla Millison. And so that will put it into George Mason. GW will set up in a 2-3. Cardano Hillary, throw around the top, she'll take it from the elbow, no good, tipped out, but it's Colonial, and GW will call timeout, but she had advanced the ball, had Latimer, and so it will stay in the backcourt, but GW with it. Now a 2-second differential between shot clock and game clock.
Wow, Cardano Hillary is fearless. She just came off that screen matchup. And are they going to foul immediately? Yes, and they're going to foul Bailey Batista because they've got a couple fouls to give, so they're going to have to foul quickly and get them into the 1-and-1.
So that's the first foul on Bolton. That is only the 3rd team foul of this quarter, so in order for shots to start falling, they'll have to do it 2 more times. Get it in, Mahoney to Batista again. Bolton, the designated fouler, as she has plenty to give. So that's her 2nd. And now shot clock off. And I think we're going to have Rosati calling the timeout for GW, and she will advance it, I believe, off of the foul. So she will advance it into the front court. 29.1 seconds to go here. GW with the 2-point advantage. Next foul will send both teams to the free throw line and Colonials. Safety valve here in the backcourt for GW, and they get it into Prangy with about 4.5 seconds left. And they're going to call, and actually I think we have an inadvertent whistle that occurred here. And so
it looked like Prangy just lost the ball.
Yeah, it did, and so I think the officials are going to huddle here, but from the looks on the officials' faces, I believe it was an inadvertent whistle, and if that is the case, yeah, because the whistle came before the ball went out of bounds.
Prangy just dribbled the ball, lost the ball, lost control. It doesn't look like Butler ever touched it.
Yep.
Officials are going to talk this one over. This should be, judging by the monitor, it should be George Mason's ball.
Now, since the whistle was blown before it went out of bounds, I'm not certain as to how they moved it. They may go to the possession arrow, possibly, but definitely an unusual situation at this point in the game. 27 seconds left, and we'll see how it plays out as the officials conferring right now as to what the call will be. But again, if this is Mason.
Anticipated the foul and blew the whistle because she raised her arm to call the foul, but clearly Butler never touched.
And that would be my interpretation of the events as well. I think you're right on. And without the ball was dead with the whistle. So I believe in that scenario it is going to be a jump ball, but we're going to call both coaches together and have a discussion about it as a final decision has been reached. So trying to pull them both away from their respective huddles as they will meet at midcourt. And trying to do our best lip reading here.
And from Coach Rosati's look, it looks like they're going to give the ball to Mason, which really is the right call.
Yeah. So, and I think Jen Rosati is arguing that you had called the foul, so you should stay with that call.
Right,
but
right.
I don't believe they are. Okay. So it is a jump ball, and the possession will go to GW. So Rosati was responding to there not being a foul, and then Nyla Millison responding to it being a jump ball.
Yes, indeed. Wow, we've had some exciting finishes.
We have. So had a lengthy review at the end of the final game, and now this one to give the ball back to GW. So Mahoney trying to get it in, and a timeout was called by GW. So the official over by the bench had the timeout call for GW. That will be their last timeout. It will be a full timeout as George Mason get in once again, as this time it's going to go into Tapias, and Tapias is going to be fouled by Cardano Hillary, and it is going to send Tapias to the free throw line. So Cardano Hillary trying to plead her case to the official to no avail, And Tapia's 2 of 2 on the day. Coming into the day, she was 10 of 11 on the season from the free throw line. So you practice this every day, but never has it meant more than it does now.
Well, it's very different when you're in this situation. She has an opportunity to make it a 2-possession game. If she makes 26 seconds, is a lot of time.
Tapia's, of course, a senior from Bogota, Colombia. First one up and good. Didn't even hesitate on that one, the lefty going up with it. As we'll have a little offense for defense, Luma will come in for GW, and Latimer will go as Tapias has another opportunity here at the free throw line. Tapias gets set for shot number 2. It's up and in, and it is a 4-point advantage for GW. 26.5 seconds to go. George Mason will call timeout. They will advance the ball, and just to see whether this is going to be a 30-second or a full timeout. Foul the three-point shooter if they go for that. Cardano Hillary with it now. Dribbling around to the right side. She's going to kick it over to Bolton. She's met by a double team. Cardano Hillary goes through her hands and out of bounds as Kaminsky had the pass over and just went out of her hands.
Well, George Mason tried to run a fade screen on the weak side of that zone. George Washington defense covered it very well. Great defense by the Colonials, and that was just not seeing the ball into your hands on that catch by Cardano.
And Latimer back in now for GW as they'll get it into Prangy. Prangy just waits for the foul to come. That's going to be on Kaminsky, and that is going to be her 5th. So Kaminsky will have a seat for George Mason, and Kelly Prangy will go to the free throw line for GW.
Kelly Prangy, an 80% free throw shooter. She doesn't get to the line a ton, but when she does, she knocks it down. And I think the seniors had a really big day. She stepped up huge in this game. She's leading her team in scoring 14 points. 13 points, 5 rebounds.
As she gets ready at the line. Her first shot's up and good. Trying to ice it here. GW extends their lead to 5, 61-56. Still 16.6 seconds to go. Prangy's second shot on the way. Good. And another timeout by Nyla Millison. That will be the final timeout for George Mason. 16.6 seconds to go. And GW now with a 6-point
net today.
Dodson kicks it in to Butler. Now around the horn, a long 3, banks in for Musgrave. 11.2 to go, and GW's lead is now 3, and they will foul Batista as she inbounds it, as GW tried to quickly inbound the ball to kind of catch George Mason sleeping. Just a great spot up that time by Musgrave. Gets advantage of the high bank.
3 steps off the line.
And that foul is going to go on Musgrave. That'll be her 5th. So she is out of the game, and Nyla Millison will hold up on the substitution to try to talk with her team just a little bit more.
Well, that was great awareness. I think it was on Tapias on that made basket to get that ball out quickly and get it into Maylin Batista, who took care of it. 3-point game, 10 seconds, plenty of time here to see if Maylin Batista can knock these down.
70% on the season. Batista. First one's up and good.
Jen Rosati with a big yes on that one.
Breathing a little bit easier right now, but still not in the clear, as Batista will go for free throw number 2. The lead is now 5 for GW. Timeouts for either team. They'll push it up ahead. Cardano Hillary tries to get the wide receiver hands out there, unable to, and it's going to belong to George Mason as she's at the edge of the court. But okay, back out, 6.9 seconds. Mason with the inbound, trailing by 5. Key to the inbounds, Cardano Hillary. She's going to spot up for 3, a long 3, no good. Put back up for 2, no good, and GW will get the rebound and the win. And we have our first upset of the Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Championship for 2018. George Washington Colonials upset the number 4 seed, George Mason Patriots, 64-59.
It was just a great effort by both teams. They kind of grinded this one out. You know, a lot